Hello 8th grade. Today we're going to be doing solving equations with radicals. Our learning objective will be, I'll be able to solve equations in the form of x squared equals p and x cubed equals p, using my knowledge of square roots and cube roots. Our warm-up is to simplify the following radicals. Okay, so I want you to pause the video, begin on your warm-up, and when you're ready, unpause and we'll discuss the warm-up together. All right, simplifying. Remember, when we're simplifying, which is what we did yesterday, we need to break apart the 27 using our perfect squares. So if you remember, our perfect squares are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, and 100. We'll stop there. So we're going to use those factors to see if they, those numbers, if they're factors of 27. So looking down the line, we know that 1 is a factor and 9 is a factor of 27. We know that 1 times 27 is 27, and we know that 9 times 3 is 27. So we're going to choose the one that is the largest, right? So we're going to be using this one because 9 is the larger perfect square. So we're going to rewrite 27 using those factors, 9 times 3. Then we're going to separate them. We know that radical 9 can equal 3, and radical 3 is irrational, so it stays the same. Done. Okay? Let's take a look at 180. 180. This one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have to adjust a little bit. So we know that 1 is a factor of 180, right? Because we know that 1 times 180 equals 180. What about 4? To do that, we do 180 divided by 4, and that is 45, so that is also a factor. So 4 times 45 equals 180. We're going to keep on going. Let's try 9. 180 divided by 9 is 20, so 9 is also a factor. 9 times 20 equals 180. But we're going to keep on going just in case. 180 divided by 16 is 11.25, so that doesn't work. 180 divided by 25. Nope. 180 divided by 36. Yep. 36 times 5. We'll check one more. 180 divided by 49. Nope. 180 divided by 64. Nope. 180 divided by 81. Nope. So this looks like it. These are the factors that have perfect squares. So 36 is our largest one, so that's the one we're going to use. 180 can be rewritten as the square root of 36 times 5. We can break that up. And then we have 6 radical 5 because 5 can't be simplified any further. Great. Let's solve. Okay, so we've done things in the past like 3 plus x equals 15. We subtract 3 from both sides because that's the opposite of addition, and then we have x equals 12. Okay? This idea is going to stay, right? We want to get x by itself. We don't want that exponent there anymore. So we have x squared equals 49. Some of you might be able to solve this in your head, but we need to do it algebraically because if we have more complicated things, we're going to need to do something. So in order to get x by itself, we must do the same thing to both sides. Both sides, same thing, right? So we want to undo a square. To undo a square, and what I mean by square, I mean is this little 2. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. By taking the square root of both sides, we have x, because the square root of x squared is just x, which equals 7, because the square root of 49 is 7. And remember, it's plus or minus 7. And that's it. That's it. I want to just break this down just a little bit further for you, right? Let's take the square root of 25, okay? We know the square root of 25 can be rewritten as 5 times 5, correct? Well, what is the square root of 25? It's 5. Well, if the square root of 25 and the square root of 5 times 5 are the same thing, and the square root of 25 equals 5, then this must also equal 5. So the same thing applies to x squared. We can write x squared as x times x, right? And if the square root of x equals x, then this also equals x. That's why we know that, okay? Let's keep on moving. Let's try, let's try number 2. We have x squared equals 121. Since this is a square, we need to take the square root of both sides to undo it. The square root of x squared is just x, and the square root of 121 is positive and negative 11, because 11 squared is 121, and negative 11 squared is 121. Let's try the next one. Same idea, we have a square, so we're going to take a square root from both sides. We're left with x equals the square root of 162. Now, if you put that into your calculator, you get a crazy number. You get a crazy number. Okay? You get a crazy number. So that doesn't work. So we need to simplify, right? So remember, we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, and so on. So let's take a look. What factors? 162 divided by 1 works. Well, divided by 4 does not work. 162 divided by 9 is 18, so we have 9 times 18. 162 divided by 16 does not work. 162 divided by 25 does not work. 162 divided by 36 does not work. 162 divided by 49 also does not work. I'm going to double check. All right, so our answer, so we're going to use, we're actually going to, I want to keep on trying just in case. So we have 64, we tried that. Next is 81, 162 divided by 81. Oh, 81 works. So we're going to use the perfect square 81 and 2. So 162 can be written as 81 times 2. We can break that up. Square root of 81 is 9, square root of 2. Now, we could do positive and negative in this case. Awesome. Next, we want to do the square root, but that 7 is in the way. That's 7 times x squared. Well, how do we get that 7 out of the way? Yeah, just like old times, we're going to divide by 7, because 7 divided by 7 is 1, and we're left with x squared. And 42 divided by 7 is 6. All right, now we could do what we just learned. To get rid of that little square, we're going to take the square root of both sides. We're left with x equals square root of 6. The problem is 6 is not a perfect square, so we have to use our perfect squares to see if there are any factors. We know that 1 times 6 works, but 4 times 6 doesn't work. Actually, none of these work except 1. So we just leave it as square root of 6. Awesome. And we can leave it as actually positive negative. All right. What about 5? What about 5? Same idea. We want to get x completely alone. So we need to get rid of the things that are surrounding it. So before doing what's being multiplied, let's deal with what's being subtracted from x. So how do we undo that? How do we undo subtraction? Addition, good. So now we're left with 3x squared equals 27. Now this looks similar to what we just did in 4. So we got to get rid of that 3, and 3 is being multiplied, so we have to do the opposite, which is division. And we're left with x squared equals 9. Take the square root of both sides. X equals positive and negative 3. Awesome. All right. This may look weird, but we should not freak out. We have to be confident in our math and our math skills. We know that it's x squared equals a number, right? We know it's x squared equals a number. So we know we need to take the square root of both sides. And yeah, that number looks weird, but we have a calculator, right? As I shared with you guys, if you have a smartphone or your computer, right? You can turn if you're using a phone, you could turn it on its side, and you can type in 0.0625, and then there's a button that has a little square root. Okay, it looks like the symbol with the little 2 there. If you click on it, you're going to get 0.25, and that's the answer, positive and negative. Awesome. All right. X squared equals a fourth. Now there's 2 ways you can go about this, right? We know that a fourth is the same as 0.25, right? And typing in decimals into a calculator is much easier. So same idea, we know we can take the square root, and when we type into our calculator the square root of 0.25, we get 0.5, which is the same thing as 1/2. So x equals positive and negative 1/2, or x equals positive and negative 0.5. And that's it. If you have any questions, please comment in Google Classroom. We'll do a little bit more of this tomorrow. For your homework, you're going to do the following on a piece of loose leaf, and you're going to scan and submit it. You don't need to scan your notes, just the independent work. So I would like you to do number 23, 24, 27, 28, and some fun ones, right? Let's do some fun ones. 29, 35, and 37. Okay? Those are the ones that I would like you to do, and that's it. Make sure you submit it on Google Classroom. Be on the lookout. You'll see the assignment that's already there. Just make sure you turn it in after you're done. Don't forget to scan it, all right? If you have any questions, please let me know, and do your best. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section, or bring them to class tomorrow. Have an awesome day, and